Jar Jar as Ghostface. I like that. It's the
You said like
honor.
scary movies?
What's your favorite? You're gonna die.
He's like gonna cut you like a fish. Hello, and welcome to STAR GAYZ, where we aren't just force sensitive, we're also fierce sensitive.
Yes. Oh my god. I really like your hat.
Thanks, I got it today at Target. I've been looking for like an indie witchy vibe hat for a long time
They
now.
had that at Target? Oh my god.
Yes, she was only $25 and it's
Fierce.
really cute. I'm into it. I have a really big head, so it's hard for me to like be comfortable in hats, and this is the vibe I was going for. I'm really excited. And it looks great with dangly earrings.
On the video, it looks like Jar Jar is stealing it from you.
He can have it.
Like it's Misa hat. Oh my god. I'm really excited about Andor tonight.
I know it started to get really good right as it ended last time, so
oh god. I'm really glad it's a slow burn because those midnights, man. Like staying up to midnight, like to avoid a spoiler is rough. So I'm kind of glad that it's not doing anything. Plus Bobby gets a nap when we watch it. He was so bored. I made him watch the third episode again. He was like, yeah, it's just like it was really boring. And I was anyways, it's starting.
He like dipped halfway through, didn't he? Like halfway through.
Yeah, because he fell asleep. Yeah, he was like, what is happening? And I was like, I know. He's one of those people.
My brother watched it when he was there this weekend, and they were queuing it up, and I was like, get ready, it's a slow burn. You got an hour and a half of a whole lot of nada. And they're like, oh, I'm sure it's gonna be good. I'm like, okay, it's not like I've seen it yet. Like, and then he agreed.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you need to pop the edible on episode 1, knowing it's not going to hit you until like the beginning of episode 3, right when it starts to ramp up.
And I've got him ready for tonight's episode.
That's awesome.
Just in case.
I've had water. I feel so boring.
That's okay. Water is very nourishing. Promotes clarity of mind. All the good things. All good things.
God. I'm really excited because of the topic of conversation for this episode.
I know. I've been looking forward to it.
He is an icon. He's a legend.
He is the moment.
Yes. He is many moments, which a lot of people were very upset about, actually. But we are talking about Jar Jar Binks this episode and why he's the greatest of all time. I think, honestly, the galaxy would be nothing without him. I didn't mean literally nothing, because for everything he messes up, he also corrects. So,
right.
Like everything would be in absolute shambles if it weren't for Jar Jar, but things are also in shambles because of Jar Jar.
He's a chaotic force for good.
Yeah, he is the Force.
Embodied.
Yeah, when they say may the Force be with you, like they want Jar Jar to like be with you. That's what it is.
Footprints in the sand be with you. Like he is that guy.
Footprints in the sand. Oh my god. Literally Jesus. Jesus Binks. That's gonna be how I say it from now on. Whenever something crazy happens, I'm just gonna be like, Jesus Binks. It's gonna be awesome. Everyone's gonna be like, what? Wow, man. Like, what to say about Jar Jar? What is there to say?
He's awesome. I feel like so in preparation for this, it was pretty much unanimous that like nobody liked him when he came out. But
Uh-huh,
when I saw him,
correct.
I thought he was really funny. A very goofy type character that broke up some of what can otherwise be serious in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. He's he's something. Thanks for listening. No, I'm just kidding. um,
Yes.
so Jar Jar makes his appearance initially in the Phantom Menace and was, as you stated, not very well liked. And his role was cut down considerably going forward because of it. There was a huge backlash. It really affected Ahmed Best, who plays him. There's all kinds of stuff we're going to get into. But what we first get into when we meet Jar Jar is his situation with the Gungans on Naboo. So Jar Jar was kicked out of his own society. Fun start. Due to being basically a clumsy, messy bitch. Which
And who can't relate? You know?
like they literally kick him out of his entire society. They're like, do not come back here. We are tired of you.
Get your shit together.
Yeah. The Gungans are the Star Wars fandom. It's like, we can't stand you, get out. Um, a lot of his clumsy behavior is evident in the Phantom Menace. And at the time of the Trade Federation's invasion of Naboo, which we kind of talked about in our Phantom Menace episode, he was swept up in the commotion and he was saved by Qui-Gon Jinn, his new bestie for the restie. And he entered into a life debt with him because Qui-Gon saved him. Life debts we see a couple times in Star Wars. It's a big part of Chewbacca's story, but basically it's like if you're about to be wiped out and somebody saves you, like you have to spend the rest of your life kind of in debt to them, which is kind of fucking weird. But I don't know. I'm like, just let me die.
Slim Pickens here.
Yeah. But then he escorts Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon to the Gungan city, which is a really cool scene with that swimming music. Very Little Mermaid. And Jar Jar is about to probably be executed for just showing up. And that's pretty sad and kind of dark, really, when you think about it. Like these bunch of like almost illiterate people are just like, he stepped foot back here, we're gonna hang him. It's like, oh whoa, it's getting a little Bible belty.
The Gungan Bible Belt.
The Gungans are the south of Naboo.
The deep south.
Mm-hmm. It is Alabama Naboo. It's, I'm gonna get canceled real quick. We're not gonna have very many fans from Alabama, I can tell you that right now. But yeah, he serves as like their guide throughout the rest of the movie, which is pretty cool ish. Kind of stops serving his purpose like midway through, and then he's just kind of there. So I kind of get to a certain degree. I feel like he probably should have just exited for a good portion of the film and then been brought back, but that's okay. Because his whole purpose on Tatooine is like there is none. What is he doing there?
Right. He's just hanging out with Qui-Gon.
Yeah, with his skin drying out. Do 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 do. Fun facts though is that because of his little adventure, he's really the only reason why Naboo finds global peace between the Gungans and the Nubians, I think is what they're called, which is what a unfortunate name, the Nubians. um, he's also really the only reason that they win against the Trade Federation in that movie, because him leading as general the diversion frees up the palace and allows Anakin to take the starfighter into space and allows Amidala to take over the palace. So also allows Darth Maul to attack Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and kills Qui-Gon, but that's, neither here nor there.
instantly severing his life debt. So,
Yeah. Now
you know,
he's free. Now he's the genie in Aladdin. He's free to go.
it kind of worked out for him.
Yeah. Maybe he planned it. The judge.
Doesn't even take
Misa.
a Sith name.
It's like, my name is dark enough. Misa lead them to you.
Misa, make it legal.
Oh God. Which is funny because he kind of does, because the only reason Palpatine ends up getting the emergency powers he will later flex to declare himself emperor is because Jar Jar holds a meeting in the Senate when he's allowed to substitute for Padme for like a week.
just filling in for her.
Yeah, and it's because, man, Palpatine's like walking around in front of him and he's like, man, things are really bad. I wish someone would give me emergency powers. This is so weird.
Is there anyone brave enough?
If only
Penny
there was a
takers.
Gungan. Yeah. Oh my God. And then he's like, Jaja, you're so handsome. I wonder if you could call a meeting. Stupid. Oh God. Anywho's. So yeah, so he calls for a vote to give Palpatine all these powers. Palpatine takes them. He never gives them up. He becomes emperor, takes over the galaxy. Death Star, pew, pew, pew. All because of Jar Jar. Whoopsie doops.
Part of his grand plan.
Yeah. That being said, he does play a lot of really key moments in the Clone Wars, which is kind of fun. He pretends to be a Jedi Knight when traveling with Padme when he finds Anakin's robes aboard her ship, all scandalous.
What are these doing here?
Mm-hmm. He also allows Viceroy Gunray to be temporarily captured for the Republic, and he accompanies Bail Organa on a mission here and there. He accompanies Mace Windu on a mission, which eventually leads to the takedown of Mother Talzin, who's the leader of the Night Sisters, which is pretty cool. He's doing it, man. He's doing the whole thing.
I think he
And
does this in the defense of Mon Calamari, doesn't he?
yep, he
in that
does.
whole battle.
He leads the Gungans in the battle. And then he's also part of stopping the blue shadow virus from taking over Naboo and creating a pandemic.
Where was he for COVID?
I know. They should just make him ruler. I want Jar Jar in the Amidala face makeup where he belongs.
Full beat. Wig, all of it.
Misa Queen Amidala.
Trying on her dresses and stuff, like filling in for her.
Twirling. La la la. What's it? Oh God, that's my favorite line, and it's like not even a word. It's like what's
a jumbling of consonants.
Yeah, yeah. Something he exclaimed one time. What? In canon, if you read the Aftermath trilogy, that's not a word. The Aftermath trilogy by Chuck Wendig, in the novel Aftermath Empire's End, they reveal what happened to Jar Jar after everything went south with the Empire. So he's actually alive by the Battle of Jakku, which is about 5 years after the Battle of Yavin, about a year after Return of the Jedi. So the war rages on after Return of the Jedi, which makes all that celebrating with the Ewoks really awkward. But but when they finally take everything down, Jar Jar's still around on Naboo. But because everybody got wise to what a douche Palpatine is, they think about how he got to be in power in the first place. And they're like, wasn't it Jar Jar who called that meeting? And so he gets banned from
Didn't you do this?
yeah. So he gets banned from Otaganga again. They're like, hey, remember when we were like, hey, you're a general now and you're like a war hero and you're now gonna like represent us in the Senate and you're like so awesome. Yeah, well, fuck that because you fucked up
Yusa
this.
Bombad vanished.
Yeah. And so he becomes like a homeless street performer on Theed. He's kind of like the Bushman in San Francisco. He's like he's just kind of running around entertaining people begging for tips, which is really sad. Adults
You still want a picture with me?
it's very like that.
$5.
And it's mentioned in there that children find him to be very entertaining and they love him a lot. He's I guess because they don't know any better. But the adults recognize him as the Jar Jar and tend to look at him disdainfully and ignore him on the street and probably spit on him. But
kick his can over,
take the money out of his tips. Like, you said don't need this.
He's a disgrace.
Not even Gungans. They're just like,
they put this in a way you'll understand.
mm-hmm. But all the kids are like, look at the funny special clown. I think in his scene he's like juggling. He's like, look up. It's it's pretty sad. I hope he gets a better, I don't know. Anyway, and he said it was like it was supposed to be representative of how the fan base treated him after the Phantom Menace was released.
Not untrue.
Where kids tended to like him, but all of the adult fans absolutely hated him. Yeah, fun stuff. In fact, in real life, Jar Jar was a highly disliked character and was so much so that in the subsequent sequels, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, his role gets less and less. So he's kept in Attack of the Clones to be the one person who messes everything up, which I think is kind of unfair to his character, but okay. And then in Revenge of the Sith, he really only has a cameo. He's just at Padme's funeral, walking there looking very sad.
Which is sad because he, I think, originally was supposed to have a much bigger role and have kind of like the Dooku kind of role. And then because he was so disliked.
So there, in fact, there's a huge rumor that he was going to turn out to be working for the Emperor and all of this stuff. Lucasfilm vehemently denies that was like really a thing. But Ahmed Best has hinted that it might be true, or at least in the very least it was discussed, which I think was fascinating. And I'm inclined to believe that that's partially true because in Attack of the Clones, like he's hanging out with all of Palpatine's little band of misfits that he keeps very close to him, right? So I'm inclined to think that maybe he, even whether or not he actively knew what he was doing or not, I'm inclined to think he was at least trying to become part of that circle, which is interesting.
And it would make sense because they're both from Naboo. Like,
right,
there's ample opportunity for them to have met before.
Mm-hmm. He's like, look, Palpatine. We're the friends.
And that's why that didn't happen.
Ahmed Best also was severely harassed off screen for his role, which is kind of sad. I mean, like he didn't write it. And often became suicidal because of the backlash and the hate he would get from fans. Oh, Star Wars fans. My God. However, Ahmed Best later would return to voicing Jar Jar in the Clone Wars. Not every time, but he does voice him in the Clone Wars for several episodes. And he also voiced Jar Jar in the Robot Chicken Star Wars tribute episodes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he plays Jar Jar in the Robot Chicken episodes, which is kind of funny. At one point, Michael Jackson was going to play Jar Jar Binks.
But wanted to do like a prosthetic thing.
Yeah. Imagine. Whoa.
What timeline is that? I want to go to that timeline.
And I love that he was like actively like, no, don't do it with like digital effects. Like, make me Jar Jar.
Turn me into Jar Jar permanently.
Yeah, which that whoa. That you imagine with like his big puppet arms, like open like, oh my god, no. No,
I would like
thank you.
to see it.
Ahmed Best got the role because the casting director actually saw Ahmed while he was performing with the cast of Stomp on Broadway, which is kind of cool. And it's a long spoken, I don't really know the term, but it's been a rumor for a long time that he was actually inspired by Goofy, like the Disney character, which it kind of makes sense.
That checks out.
Yeah. The technology behind Jar Jar was fascinating. He was the first use of CG and motion capture for a major character, completely done throughout a film, which Lucasfilm and Industrial Light and Magic really try and use Star Wars as a platform to push technology forward so they can take that technology into other films and other features and things like that in the industry. And Jar Jar definitely was a big piece of that. Now motion capture is all over the place. They do it all the time.
I think, unfortunately, because he's so not well received, people often overlook that.
I
Because
completely agree.
most of the time people will refer to like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but this was out long before that. So
yep.
I think it's just because people didn't like him, so they don't think of that.
Yep. Ahmed Best also would go on to return to Star Wars recently in the Disneyfied era of Star Wars as the host of Jedi Temple Challenge, which was the kids' YouTube series where children competed in this like Legends of Hidden Temple type show to become Jedi. It was pretty cool. I watched it every week, actually. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Oh.
And he plays a specific Jedi on there. I can't remember the name. I should have wrote down. But they let him pick his lightsaber for that character and all this other stuff as well. So he has his own kind of lore behind that character. I don't know that we'll ever see that character again. But he's also designed to be in some way related, like an ancestor of his other character in Attack of the Clones, which he cameos as in the Coruscant bar scene during the chase. So he's seen out of costume as a different character, like it's Star Wars, so all of those characters have backgrounds and names, even though they don't do anything. And so he asked Lucasfilm to connect those characters, so he has like his own little Ahmed Best line of characters. Very cool. Jar Jar Binks was not only considered to be one of the worst Star Wars characters of all times, but fun fact, ABC News wrote an entire article and named Jar Jar Binks as the worst character from any film or television series ever in history.
What an honor.
Like Ghostface, it's an honor. Jar Jar as Ghostface. I like that. It's an
You
honor.
said like scary movies?
What's your favorite? You're gonna die.
He's like gonna cut you like a fish.
You some mama didn't want to die. This is my family in the other room is probably wondering what is happening.
I need those two
Is.
universes to be a thing.
I need the entire multiverse of madness of Jar Jar Binks. Like,
Yes.
there is a Jar Jar for every film universe. I'm certain of it, and I need it.
Including the crime fighting duo of Jar Jar and Leia.
Yes, I need that so bad. I also think Jar Jar the Vampire Slayer would be really good. And I'm already writing several episodes.
Make it happen.
Where are you, Hollywood? Okay. Listen to the fans.
These are vampires.
Misa wanna cheerlead.
Stop. Would he be the only Gungan at Sunnydale High, or would there be others?
Cordelia can be one too. That's fine.
Oh, I can see that. What's your damage?
Oh my god. Misa love you, Angel. Oh god. This is getting weird. Okay. For the most part, that's Jar Jar. But really, he really is kind of like, for good and bad, the backbone of the entire universe. And I love that for him. Before we wrap this up, Zach, what is the gayest part of Jar Jar?
Oh God. When he gets to be a little more prominent, like in the Senate, he does have some really lavish fashion that is quite sickening for a Gungan.
That's true.
I'm here
like
for it.
Padme became his drag mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately. He's from the house of Amidala.
Just short of wearing her wigs, like it was pretty spot on. He even has a similar action Senator Jar Jar outfit.
That's very true. And I bet if it wouldn't have smashed his eyeballs, he would have worn them.
What do you think the gayest part of Jar Jar is?
I think it's that. And now I think I just need him also on Drag Race. Like I just need him on
This look was inspired by
which, I mean, we already did get Jasmine Kennedy, so just kidding. Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Subscribe, Jasmine. We love you. You're an icon. Oh, Jar Jar. Look how the time flew by talking about Jar Jar. He's just so... He is great. I was reading too, because Rian Johnson supposedly is still making a Star Wars trilogy. It's not happening. I guarantee it's not happening. But he's talked about like wanting to bring up previous characters that haven't really been around for a while. And one of the names on the list, maybe because at this point he's just wanting to go at it with the fans, but he's like, I would put Jar Jar.
100% would put Jar Jar.
Yeah, it would be Jar Jar's trilogy.
I'd pay to see it.
I would. Wow, silly little hobo. Little hobo clown. Yeah, that's enough for him.
And signing off.
Yeah, well. But you can check us out next time, and we're going to talk about Leia for the entire episode. Leia, I don't know why I made her sound all sensual. Leia.
Luscious Leia.
But we're going to talk about why Leia is the best Skywalker and why. And we're prepared to fight people. Because I feel like she's often overlooked, and I'm ready to go at it over her. A lot of notes. So in the meantime, though, thanks for joining us. Watch Star Wars, and may the Fierce be with you.